What's up everybody, Mr. OG Games here, and before we get into today's video, I just wanted to give a big shout out to NapoDymite for his inspiration in the new characters that will be introduced today. And also, if you guys like what you see, make sure to subscribe and tickle that little bell icon. That way you'll see the new videos coming out. But without further ado, here is part 3 in the short stories, Rock Giant. Cold winds blew in from the north. Early morning frost now a daily occurrence. Fall had arrived. With its arrival brought the massive rock giants down from distant mountains in the far north. These giants mainly kept to themselves unless provoked. Once word reached the cities that they had arrived, armies would set out to conquer them for their riches, and thus provoking them to attack all territories. Now was the time to prepare for winter and the possibility of rock giants making their way across the territory. Preparation continued day and night. Scouts were dispersed across the realm. As day turned to night, a scout came running into the city, past the castle gates and into the castle hall. My queen, the scout yelled as he approached the throne room. What word do you bring? She questioned. Rock giant, just along the western territory line. Find Abarat and tell him to ready his march. We will head out at dawn. Yes, my queen, and the scout quickly exited the throne room. The scout entered the great mystic building. Commander Abarat. Yes, Abarat said. I bring you word to ready your march. We march at a rock giant close to our territory at dawn, the scout stated. Queen Mariarch will accompany you. Our strongest march will be ready, said Abarat. As dawn approached, the troops were ready and waiting the word to move out. Queen Mariarch mounted her steed and moved to the front of the formation. With a nod, Abarat gave the command to move out. The march moved forward behind the mighty Pegasus. It would be a half-day's journey, but well worth it for the great riches that came with its conquer. As the march closed in on the location where the rock giant was last seen, battle flags of another march made their way across the frostbitten soil. Not the colors of our alliance, my queen, said Abarat. Move in faster, for we will be the victor today, she said. The order was given, and the march sped forward with great speed. Closing in on the rock giant, the queen caught glimpse of the rival march closing in fast also. Just as the front line infantry formed up, so too did the rival march infantry. It would be a battle of strength and force today, yelled the queen. Before each march could evaluate the other, the large rocks swung on chains made their way just over the infantry lines. The queen's mighty mages unleashed their fury while archers from the rival march hailed arrows into the rock giant. With a small falter, the giant quickly responded and sent infantry on both sides flying across the battlefield. The skies quickly covered with incoming arrows and bursts of magical power. The queen's march, made with infantry and mages, continued to raid the giant, while cavalry from the rival march dispersed and held formation behind their now weakened infantry. Both march formations, now firmly in place, began to push and advance on the giant's position. Several more attempts were made to combat the advancing troops, but the giant continued to falter with each attacking blow. The giant made one last attempt, with rocks clearing the infantry, but it was too late. The rock giant staggered and fell to the ground, creating a cloud of dust in its wake. As the dust cleared, rivals found themselves interwoven amongst one another, making formation and waiting with anticipation. Abarat and Mariarch made their way to the front line to see what force had joined them against the giant. Through the dust walked a lone archer to greet the queen's march. Now standing alongside his infantry, removing his helmet, Darwig once again faced the Queen. Staring for what felt like hours, Darwig recalled his last encounter with the Queen many moons ago. Thoughts raving through his mind, the brief silence was broke when Abarat spoke up. "Men, grab what loot the giant possessed and secure the perimeter." Before her men could take action, Mariarch halted the men and stated to stand down. "For this loot is a shared one, is it not?" she said. Darwig nodded in agreement. Mariarch ordered for the loot to be split, sharing the riches. With a disgusted look, Abarat agreed. The order was given by both to make camp for the night, round up the wounded and dead. Mariarch gave one last look, with a smile at Darwig, before she turned and joined her men to see the riches they had won. As the sun began to set, small groups of laughter could be heard, instruments playing songs of victory, the smell of meals to come, and both sides camped now ready for the evening. As Darwig reviewed the day's riches, a messenger called out to him, parting the tent flap and handing him a scroll. "A scroll from Queen Mariarch," said the messenger. He then bowed and backed out of the tent. As Darwig unrolled the scroll, he began to read, a smile forming as the words were short and sweet. "May a lady of the crown be blessed with your presence tonight. Come, let us continue where we left off. Enjoy a feast while we celebrate our victory. I await your swift return." The Queen penned these words herself, and she is requesting me, Darwig thought. Then I shall not disappoint. After readying himself for an appearance with the Queen, he put together a small gift, a gift suitable for a queen, yet desired by a warrior. With a deep breath, he pushed through the tent opening and made his way across the camp, slipping past the final tents and into the darkness. A short walk later, he arrived at the rival camp and was escorted to the Queen's tent. His presence was announced by her royal guard. The flaps parted, and he stepped through. He was greeted by the soft light from a small fire and the sweet smell of perfume. Darwig waited, arms behind his back and nervously looking around the interior. As he gazed around, a simple "hello" could be heard from behind him. As he turned, his eyes met the Queen's piercing blue eyes, her hair up, showing the soft skin of her neck. She wore an elegant gown, which hung by thin straps over each shoulder, fitting tight against her breast, slightly loosening fit as it made its way just inches from the ground. "You look beautiful, very beautiful," said Darwig. Her cheeks turned a soft rose color, and she gestured for him to make way to the table. Stepping closer, pulling her chair out, she slid between him and the chair, adjusting her dress as she sat. Darwig followed by taking a seat. "I am very happy to see you made it," she said. He nodded, and she said, "Let's eat." Throughout dinner, their eyes danced with one another's, speaking 1,000 words for them. Folding her napkin, she spoke. Today was a great surprise. Deserved victory, and to do it with a supposed rival, well, that made it very interesting. I was informed not to speak with you tonight, but here we are. Darwig agreed, and was also informed to not speak with the Queen either. "We are in a predicament," stated Darwig. The night carried on. Conversation between the two sparked future interest on many levels. As they stood from the table, Mariarch stepped within inches of Darwig. She slowly grabbed his hands, looking into his eyes, and she came cheek to cheek with him, whispering, "Meet me at the ancient ruins in 2 days." Pulling slowly away, brushing her cheek against his, stepping back and taking a seat. "I will be there," Darwig said. He turned and exited the tent.